All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says education must lift language barrier and let talent flourish. Government allows round-the-clock COVID-19 vaccination to speed up immunization. Covaxin, India's first indigenous corona vaccine, shows efficacy of 81%. Assam government to promote all students from class 1 to 9, even if they do not appear in exams. Combined Commanders Conference to begin today at Kevadia in Gujarat. Security forces bust Hizbul Mujahideen hideout in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to visit Bangladesh today. India to commemorate Chabahar Day on the sidelines of Maritime India Summit 2021 today. At least 38 protesters killed by security forces in Myanmar. And in cricket, fourth and final test between India and England to begin today in Ahmedabad. A victory or a draw can ensure a place for India in the World Test Championship final. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed the need for the education system to overcome linguistic barriers so that talent from rural areas gets opportunity to flourish. He said the new national education policy will be implemented on a mission mode towards this purpose. Addressing a webinar on effective implementation of the provisions in the union budget for the education sector, Mr. Modi said, academics and experts of every language should make available the best content in the country and the world in Indian languages.
मैं आपसे जरूर आग्रह करूंगा कि हमारे देश में टैलेंट की कमी नहीं है। गांव हो, गरीब हो, जिसको अपनी भाषा के सिवाय और कुछ नहीं आता है, उसकी टैलेंट कम नहीं होती है। भाषा के कारण हमारे गांव के, हमारे गरीब की टैलेंट को हमने मरने नहीं देना चाहिए। देश में देश की विकास यात्रा से उसको वंचित नहीं रखना चाहिए। भारत की टैलेंट गांव में भी है, भारत की टैलेंट गरीब के घर में भी है, भारत की टैलेंट किसी एक कोई बड़ी भाषा से वंचित रह गए हमारे देश के बच्चों में भी है और इसलिए उस टैलेंट का उपयोग इतने बड़े देश के लिए जोड़ना बहुत जरूरी है। इसलिए भाषा के बैरियर से बाहर निकल करके हमें उसकी भाषा में उसकी टैलेंट को फलने फूलने के लिए अवसर देना ये मिशन मोड में करने की जरूरत है।
He said it is necessary to produce content in Indian languages for every area of expertise, be it medical, engineering, technology or management.
इस वर्ष का बजट भी इस दिशा में बहुत मददगार सिद्ध होगा। इस वर्ष के बजट में हेल्थ के बाद जो दूसरा सबसे बड़ा फोकस है वो एजुकेशन, स्किल, रिसर्च और इनोवेशन पर ही है। देश के यूनिवर्सिटी, कॉलेज और R&D इंस्टीट्यूशंस को में बेहतर सिनर्जी आज हमारे देश के सबसे बड़ी जरूरत बन गई है। इसी को ध्यान में रखते हुए ग्लू ग्रांट का प्रावधान किया गया है, जिसके तहत अभी 9 शहरों में इसके लिए जरूरी मैकेनिज्म तैयार किए जा सके। साथियों, अप्रेंटिसशिप पर, स्किल डेवलपमेंट और अपग्रेडेशन पर इस बजट में जो बल दिया गया है वो भी अभूतपूर्व है।
Asserting that there is no dearth of talent in the country, Mr. Modi said, those living in villages and the poor who do not know any language other than their local language have no shortage of talent. We should not let the talent of our villages, our poor, die due to language difficulties, he said. The Prime Minister said the second biggest focus after health in this year's budget is on education, skill, research and innovation. Mr. Modi pointed out that to build a self-reliant India, confidence of the youth is equally important.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत के निर्माण के लिए देश के युवाओं में आत्मविश्वास उतना ही जरूरी है। आत्मविश्वास तभी आता है जब युवा को अपनी एजुकेशन, अपनी नॉलेज, अपनी स्किल पर पूरा भरोसा हो, विश्वास हो। आत्मविश्वास तभी आता है जब उसको एहसास होता है कि उसकी पढ़ाई उसे अपना काम करने का अवसर दे रही है और जरूरी स्किल भी दे रही है। नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति इसी सोच के साथ बनाई गई है। प्री नर्सरी से पीएचडी तक राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के हर प्रावधान को जल्द से जल्द जमीन पर उतारने के लिए अब हमें तेजी से काम करना है।
The government has allowed round-the-clock COVID-19 vaccination in order to expedite the immunization drive. In a tweet, Health Minister Harshvardhan said the government has lifted the time restriction to increase the speed of vaccination. He said people can now get vaccinated 24/7 according to their convenience. Dr. Harshvardhan said Prime Minister Narendra Modi understands the value of health as well as the time of citizens. Easing restrictions, all private hospitals were on Tuesday allowed to give the vaccines if they adhere to the laid down norms, while the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. timing was also done away with. Meanwhile, President Ramnath Kovind was administered the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine at an army hospital in Delhi yesterday. On Monday, Prime Minister Modi was administered the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine at AIIMS, New Delhi.
Bharat Biotech has announced that COVID-19 vaccine Covaxin demonstrated interim clinical efficacy of 81% in its phase 3 trial. The trials involved 25,800 participants across 21 sites. The first interim analysis is based on 43 cases, of which 36 cases of COVID-19 were observed in the placebo group versus 7 cases observed in the Covaxin group, resulting in vaccine efficacy of 81%. The trials were conducted by the company with the help of Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR. Director General ICMR Dr. Balram Bhargav said that the journey of completely indigenous COVID-19 vaccine in less than 8 months' time showcases the immense strength of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Talking to AIR, Dr. Anup Kumar of Safdarjung Hospital in New Delhi said that Bharat Biotech's Covaxin is fully safe and effective.
फेज 3 ट्रायल एक इम्पोर्टेंट ट्रायल होता है, इसलिए ये फर्स्ट बताया गया था मिनिस्ट्री के द्वारा, इसे इमरजेंसी अप्रूवल दिया गया है। और ये देखते हुए कि कोविड जो पैंडेमिक भारत में चल रहा है उसमें हमें इसकी जरूरत है, इसलिए इसको इमरजेंसी अप्रूवल दिया गया था। अब जब ये तीसरा फेज का ट्रायल आ चुका है और जिसमें अराउंड 27,000 टोटल जो है पार्टिसिपेंट्स थे 18 ईयर्स अबव, और उसमें देखा गया कि 80% से ज्यादा एफिकेसी देखी गई और सेफ्टी भी देखी गई। तो अब ये बिल्कुल जो है प्रमाणित हो जाता है कि ये वैक्सीन जो है बहुत सेफ है और इसकी एफिकेसी जो बाहर की वैक्सीन है, फाइजर है, मॉडर्ना है, उन वैक्सीन के बिल्कुल कंपेरेबल है। और हम जानते हैं कॉस्ट तो इसकी बहुत ही कम है, तो जो हम स्टोरेज कंडीशंस हैं वो बहुत ही फेवरेबल है इंडिया के हिसाब से।
The cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country has crossed 1.63 crores yesterday. The countrywide vaccination drive was rolled out on the 16th of January and vaccination of frontline workers started from 2nd February 2021. The next phase of COVID-19 vaccination commenced from 1st March 2021 for those who were above 60 years of age and for people aged 45 and above with specified comorbid conditions. A total of 1,63,14,485 vaccine doses have been given so far. A total of 6,92,889 vaccine doses were given yesterday.
The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country has touched 97.06%. The Health Ministry said over 13,000 people were discharged in the last 24 hours. Till now, over 1,812,000 people have recovered from the COVID-19 infection. In the last 24 hours, around 15,000 new cases were reported. With this, the total number of cases has reached over 1,11 lakh. The ministry said 98 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. So far, over 1,56 lakh beneficiaries have been vaccinated. A total of 240 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection have been reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 6,39,921. The Delhi government has informed that more than 6,27,000 people affected with COVID-19 have recovered so far. At present, there are 1,584 active cases in the national capital.
In Bihar, a total of 104,913 healthcare workers took the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine. So far, 6,85,195 beneficiaries have been inoculated with vaccine doses since the start of the vaccination drive in the state. Meanwhile, 2,60,737 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the state so far. COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 99.28% in Bihar. In Gujarat, more than 60,000 people were vaccinated against COVID-19 yesterday. All these persons were above 60 years of age or above 45 years with comorbidities. Not a single instance of any side effect has been reported so far. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
According to the State Health Department, more than 10 lakh persons have received the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine in the state till now. Similarly, 2,17,779 persons have received second dose of the vaccine. State government has claimed that the spread of COVID-19 infection is under control. 475 new cases of COVID-19 reported during the last 24 hours, while 358 patients have been discharged from the hospitals after recovery. Total 2,64,195 patients have been recovered from COVID-19 in the state till now. At present, Gujarat has 2,638 active cases of COVID-19, out of which 39 patients are on ventilator. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
Despite difficulties being faced in registration, COVID-19 vaccination drive is being conducted in full swing in Maharashtra. Due to the response of the citizens, BMC has decided to start vaccination in 13 new private hospitals in Mumbai from today. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
In Maharashtra, till date, a total of 13.72 lakh beneficiaries are inoculated for COVID-19 preventive vaccine. As per the data shared by State Health Department and BMC, yesterday around 4,540 persons above the age of 45 and with comorbidities are vaccinated, while around 31,000 senior citizens received shots of vaccine. Yesterday, 5 persons had repeated giddiness in Mumbai. They were kept for observation for 30 minutes and later discharged. As per BMC statement, more than expected persons are turning up for the COVID-19 vaccination drive. Around 20,000 persons from above the age of 45 with comorbidities and senior citizens have vaccinated in Mumbai itself in last 3 days. Due to this overwhelming response, BMC has decided to add 13 new private hospitals to the list of vaccination centers from today. Jivan Bhavsar, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Assam, the Education Department has clarified that all the students from Class 1 to 9th Standard should be promoted to the next class, whether they appear in the examinations or not. An order issued by the Commissioner Secretary in the Education Department said that though the schools could hold annual examinations in the first week of this month, it was not mandatory for students to appear. The order said that classes for next session would begin from the 1st of next month, and this order is applicable to all non-government schools of Assam. This decision was taken due to the lockdown situation. Secretary, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, DIPAM, Tuhin Kanta Pandey has said that the offer for sale of government shares in public sector undertaking IRCON International has received good response on day one. In a tweet, the Secretary said the issue was subscribed 3.3 times of base size at a clearing price above the floor price by non-retail investors. He said the government has decided to exercise the green shoe option. Retail investors will get a chance to bid today.
Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that Orissa is uniquely poised to contribute to the realization of the call of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for an Atmanirbhar Bharat and achieving $5 trillion economy. Addressing the investment opportunities in Orissa session in the Maritime India Summit 2021, the minister said Orissa's coast along with Paradeep will be the gateway of growth of the eastern part of the country. More from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
Harking back to the rich maritime legacy of Odisha, Mr. Pradhan said the navigators of the state used to sail across to different parts of the globe to bring fortune and glory to the state. He said the government's initiatives in the petroleum and steel sector will provide impetus to the maritime economy of Odisha. Participating in the virtual meeting, the State Commerce and Transport Minister Padmanabh Behera highlighted the state government's initiative for port-led economic growth in the state, which enjoys a 480-kilometer long coastline. Giresh Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says education must lift language barrier and let talent flourish. Government allows round-the-clock COVID-19 vaccination to speed up immunization. Covaxin, India's first indigenous corona vaccine, shows efficacy of 81%. Assam government to promote all students from classes 1 to 9, even if they do not appear in exams. Combined Commanders Conference to begin today at Kevadia in Gujarat. Security forces bust Hizbul Mujahideen hideout in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to visit Bangladesh today. India to commemorate Chabahar Day on the sidelines of Maritime India Summit 2021 today. At least 38 protesters killed by security forces in Myanmar. And in cricket, fourth and final test between India and England to begin today in Ahmedabad. A victory or a draw can ensure a place for India in the World Test Championship final. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
A 3-day combined commanders conference will begin today at Kevadia in Gujarat. Theaterization of armed forces, self-reliance in defense sector and evolving threats in the region will be the focus areas during the 3-day annual event. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh will address the top commanders of the Indian Army, Navy and the Air Force tomorrow. During the conference, the setting up of a new Air Defense Command and Maritime Command is likely to be discussed at length. Implementation of the Air Defense Command timeline is also likely to come up for discussion. The formation of theatre commands will synergize the capabilities and combat potential of the three forces during war and peace. Air Defense Command and Maritime Command are part of the restricting plan of the Indian Armed Forces, as was announced by Chief of Defence Staff CDS General Bipin Rawat last year. In Jammu and Kashmir, Avantipura Police, along with Army's 42 RR and 180 BN of CRPF, has busted a terrorist hideout in the forest area of Seer Pastuna in Avantipura area of Pulwama district. During the search in the area by the joint team, one hideout of terrorist outfit Hizbul Mujahideen was busted and subsequently destroyed. Incriminating material of the terrorist outfit and other material like utensils, etc., have also been recovered from the hideout. All the recovered material has been taken into police custody for the purpose of investigation.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will pay an official visit to Dhaka today on the invitation of Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen. During the visit, Dr. Jaishankar will meet Bangladesh counterpart and also call on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Dr. Jaishankar's Bangladesh visit follows the Prime Minister level virtual summit held between the two countries on 17 December last year and will also provide an opportunity to take stock of the progress in bilateral relations. More from our Bangladesh correspondent.
During the visit, the External Affairs Minister will meet Bangladesh Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen. He will also call on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in Dhaka. According to a press release issued by the Ministry of External Affairs, the visit of Dr. Jaishankar follows on the summit-level virtual meeting between the Prime Ministers of India and Bangladesh in December last year. The External Affairs Minister will take stock of the progress in bilateral relations between the two countries. The visit of the External Affairs Minister comes ahead of the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Bangladesh to take part in the centenary celebration of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib and 50 years of the liberation of Bangladesh later this month. Both the countries are likely to sign several MOUs and agreements during the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Bangladesh. Rajesh Jha for AIR News, Dhaka.
India will commemorate Chabahar Day today on the sidelines of the Maritime India Summit 2021. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will address the ministerial-level opening session. Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Mansukh Mandavia, will deliver the keynote address. The ministerial-level opening session will be followed by 2 webinar sessions on development of port infrastructure, unleashing opportunities and boosting business through trade promotion and regional connectivity. A report.
Ministers from Afghanistan, Armenia, Iran, Kazakhstan, the Russian Federation and Uzbekistan will participate in the event. External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, will address the ministerial level opening session. Mr. Mansukh Mandavia, Minister of State for Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways and Minister of State for Chemical and Fertilizers will deliver the keynote address. Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Chabahar connectivity event held on the 23rd of May 2016 said that the project will enhance the full spectrum of connectivity agenda between Iran, Afghanistan and India.
Today, the watchwords of international ties are trust, not suspicion, cooperation, not dominance, inclusivity, not exclusion. This is also the guiding philosophy and driving spirit of the Chabahar Agreement. I am confident that the economic fruits of this Chabahar Agreement will expand trade, attract investment, build infrastructure, develop industry and create jobs for our youth.
India has already supplied a consignment of 2 mobile harbour cranes MHCs to Iran's Chabahar port with a total contract value of over $25 million under a contract agreement for supply of 6 such cranes. The consignment of cranes arrived from Marghera port, Italy, has been unloaded successfully on the 18th of January 2021 at Chabahar port and presently undergoing trials run. Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Mr. Mansukh Mandavia stated that Chabahar port is a strategic port with great national importance. Anita Anand, All India Radio.
In Myanmar, at least 38 people were killed and many injured as the military quelled protests in several towns and cities, the United Nations said. UN Special Envoy on Myanmar, Christine Schreiner Bergener, said in New York that Wednesday was the bloodiest day since the coup happened on the 1st of February. She said 38 people died and now more than 50 people have died since the coup took place a month ago. The UN Security Council is due to discuss the situation on Friday in a closed meeting. In Washington, U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price said the United States is appalled by the increase in violence. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that China is the only country to seriously challenge the stable and open international systems. Mr. Blinken said this in a speech on U.S. foreign policy at the Department of State on Wednesday.
China is the only country with the economic, diplomatic, military, and technological power to seriously challenge the stable and open international system. All the rules, values, and relationships that make the world work the way we want it to, because it ultimately serves the interests and reflects the values of the American people. Our relationship with China will be competitive when it should be, collaborative when it can be, and adversarial when it must be. The common denominator is the need to engage China.
International Women's Day is celebrated on 8th of March. All India Radio News honors women achievers from diverse fields by bringing their stories. Today, we'll bring you the stories of women who have done exceptional service to society. Smriti Singh, the outgoing Gram Pradhan of Ratsar Kala, has worked immensely for the development of her village and villagers. Her village, Ratsar Kala, falls in the Balia district of eastern Uttar Pradesh. More from our correspondent.
Smriti Singh has majorly focused on improving the condition of women and children. Smriti Singh has worked towards the empowerment of women. As the Gram Pradhan, she was instrumental in forming 8 self-help groups in the village, which earlier didn't have even one SHG. She is also constantly engaged in improving the infrastructure of her village. She has worked on construction of roads and sewage. Talking to All India Radio News, she said she aims at improving the health and education.
मैं ग्राम प्रधान बनी तो मेरी प्राथमिकता वही थी जहाँ पे 70 सालों से इंक्रोचमेंट था और वहाँ पे रोडें नहीं थी। वहाँ पे मैंने जो है कच्ची रोडें, पक्की रोडें बनवाई, जिससे कि आने जाने में परेशानी न हो। तो बहुत सारे इंक्रोचमेंट को हटाते हुए मैंने ये सारी चीजें की। नाले, सीवेज अंदर से बनवाया, अंडरग्राउंड सीवेज बनवाए, कवर्ड नालियां बनवाई। यहाँ पे लगभग 78 लाख रुपए की लागत से एक मार्केट बनवाया, बस स्टॉप शॉप्स बनवाए, आरओ एटीएम प्लांट्स, आरओ मशीन्स लगवाए और एक मैंने उत्तर प्रदेश में सबसे अच्छा स्कूल एक जो है कायाकल्प योजना के तहत बनाया। बाकी भी स्कूल्स कायाकल्प योजना के तहत बनाए। सरकारी स्कूल में जो है इंसिनरेटर लड़कियों के लिए और सैनिटरी वेंडिंग मशीन्स भी लगवाई। मैंने एसएचजी 1 से लेकर के अब मेरे यहाँ 8 एसएचजी बन चुकी हैं। तो काफी कुछ अभी भी बाकी है। मैंने बच्चियों को सैनिटरी पैड ट्रेनिंग बनाने का दिया है, एसएचजी को जो है फूड प्रोसेसिंग और अगरबत्ती बनाने की ट्रेनिंग दी है।
After completing her education, she chose to work for a village instead of opting for a high-flying career. Her efforts have been recognized by the state government from time to time. Diksha Saxena, AIR News, Delhi.
In cricket, the fourth and final test between India and England will begin today at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. The match will begin at 9:30 a.m. The third test last week ended within 2 days, with the hosts looking to secure a place in the World Test Championship final. Virat Kohli's India need a win or a draw to book a clash with New Zealand in the inaugural World Test Championship final. An England win would put Australia into the decider at Lord's in June. Six-time world champion MC Mary Kom beat Giordana Sorrentino of Italy to reach the women's 51 kg semi-finals and to ensure a medal at the Boxing Elite International Tournaments in Castellón in Spain. The year-long birth centenary celebrations of the doyen of music, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, are underway. Let's listen to one of his renditions.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar may witness a cloudy sky towards evening or night with possibility of rain or thunder showers accompanied with squall. The minimum temperature was 3 degrees Celsius while maximum will be nearly 16 degrees. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Leh and Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. Leh recorded minimum temperature of -7 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 9 degrees. In Muzaffarabad, sky will be initially partly cloudy and later it may become generally cloudy. In Dehradun, maximum temperature will be around 29 degrees Celsius with mainly clear sky. Chandigarh will also have mainly clear sky and maximum temperature may rise up to 30 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Interim final phase data is in. Bharat Biotech's COVID shot is 81% effective, headlines the Indian Express. Covaxin efficacy 81% can fight mutants, writes the Tribune. Covaxin works against UK variant, reports the Asian Age. People can get vaccine 24/7 as drive scaled up, reports Hindustan Times. The Hindu quotes a study revealing that antibodies against coronavirus appear significantly only 14 days after a vaccine injection and in people already infected in 7 days. Ahead of Tamil Nadu elections, Sasikala says she will stay away from politics, reads Hindustan Times headline. The Pioneer refers to this as Sasikala's dramatic pledge. Sashastra Seema Bal to raise 12 more battalions, headlines the Pioneer. This means more than 13,000 personnel over the next 4 years, writes the paper. The Statesman reports that this is to fortify Nepal, Bhutan borders, Tri-Junction area. And finally, the Times of India, quoting the UN, reports that 38 protesters have been killed by Myanmar security forces.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says education must lift language barrier and let talent flourish. Government allows round-the-clock COVID-19 vaccination to speed up immunization. Covaxin, India's first indigenous corona vaccine, shows efficacy of 81%. Assam government to promote all students from class 1 to 9, even if they do not appear in exams. Combined Commanders Conference to begin today at Kevadia in Gujarat. Security forces bust Hizbul Mujahideen hideout in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to visit Bangladesh today. India to commemorate Chabahar Day on the sidelines of Maritime India Summit 2021 today. At least 38 protesters killed by security forces in Myanmar. And in cricket, fourth and final test between India and England to begin today in Ahmedabad. A victory or a draw can ensure a place for India in the World Test Championship final. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.